4 points and they're done. So hata waruke juu waruke chini waende hivi it's over. Like wanaweza kupanda basi warudi wapande ndege warudi
chunga vile unaongea. I'm sorry. You might want to go there one day.
But anyway, played for future. So they're done. Zambia also, they haven't finished. They have one more game, an important one against us on Sunday, but they're on 0 points. They haven't won any match. But you shouldn't write them off because
yesterday I happened to be watching the news gang just while they were beginning, and there's an interesting, interjection from Yvonne Okwara to Jamila Mohammed. Yesterday they were just three. I think it was Bonyo, and then Yvonne, and then Jamila Mohammed. And they began off by analyzing the CHAN and how they've been promised. Harambee Stars have been promised millions, and of course, CAF issuing penalties to Kenya because of, breach of security and just this mishaps and this misconducts of, fans or football, lovers breaching security. And, of course, that has painted quite a shady, bad picture about Kenya, and how, when it comes to our security infrastructure, especially when it comes to crowd control, it really painted a very, very, very bad picture. And of course, CAF was according to an interview that was done on Wednesday on JKL with Ayub, I remember Ghost Mule saying Kenya has been fined up to 12.5 million. At first, they had mentioned 6.5, but I hear it's twice since the penalties are now, they're climbing up, or they're doubling and even tripling. So the awaited match is happening on Sunday. If Harambee Stars, literally Kenya wins, they be to the finals of the rest of the groups. And there's a possibility of Harambee Stars, playing in an empty stadium without fans because of some of these penalties. And of course, with CAF, you have to adhere to international standards. And I'd also like to tell you that this has not just happened to, African games only or African-centered, soccer or football. There's even international games. I think there was one of was it in Etihad or Manchester? I don't exactly recall, but I remember fans were banned from using the stadium. Players had to play without, people cheering and screaming and squeaking. And that just shows you that, when it comes to adhering to professionalism, they'll do everything that they can to ensure that the safety, there's a conducive environment and temperature and attitude and altitude that favors the game. And that's why Harambee Stars fans and Kenyans at large have been urged to adhere to a security protocol, buy legit tickets, and as much as they're saying it's already sold out, and just observe, decorum. Because there's a lot of respect, because this is not just a Kenyan match. It's not a Kogelo. Gone are the days when a losing team would pluck out everything from the stadium, throw chairs and stones, but this is an international match that's being professionally choreographed for the international audiences as well as local. So it has to adhere to some sort of decorum. Now back to Jamila Mohammed's sentiments. Yvonne Okwara was like, chunga usionge, you might want to go there someday. It was the Angola's match, Jamila's, for lack of a better word, hot sentiments about, a commentary about Angola's match, and the way she was saying they are quenished. And I'd like to tell you, by the way, when it comes to journalism, yes, you can be held for your sentiments, things you said on television, on radio, after years and years and years, because they always come to trend, or there's always people that give opinion. I believe it's only Wendy Williams of the Wendy Williams show who had to give opinions about these elite celebrities, and they would do nothing to her because she was a shock jock. Her show was a say it like you mean it. The spirit and the heart of her show was to take shade, dig, and sarcasm, and just, grill people's character, like Wendy Williams had punchlines and, and guns and bullets and grenades and taking shade and being mean. That kind of journalism in Kenya, I don't think you can survive if you're the kind of person who takes shade and digs. We've seen even journalists who ask very in-depth questions that cuts through the character of politicians. Most of them end up being mocked, or when the same journalist goes through something, people start reminding, her or him of the interviews he did way back, asking, in Kenya we are not yet there, but we're heading there very soon. It might be me on the line. who'll be grilling those politicians and asking them the real questions, raw, unfiltered, and just straight to the point. No shame, no fear. Right? So that was an interesting moment to just caution a colleague. Hey. Usiseme sana cause unaweza tumwa kwa hiyo country someday na ushiko kwa airport useme, oh, this is the dude who's been asking world leaders. And 90% of politicians or people in government are gatekeepers. They are gatekeepers. And some of these elite organizations, 90% of them are gatekeepers. They keep a record if you said something, if you did something, if you talked, if you had leaked something, if you found, they always use that as a stumbling block for people. So especially if you're a public figure, your sentiments, your word is low. So you have to tread carefully and just walk on eggshells, because we don't have that freedom yet of like the Wendy Williams, where she would say it like she meant it, and she would read you to filth and shade you to the gutter.